Welcome to the American Meteorological Society Conference this year being hosted in Houston. Some of the biggest topics being covered are AI and our changing digital landscape as we get more of our weather information on social media. I'm meteorologist Elisa Raffa, and I decided to take the questions to the top, sitting down with National Weather Service Director Ken Graham.
I guess I wanted to start with the National Weather Service is really working on trying to get AI into the mix when it comes to modeling, and you just released some information about a new model. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, it's one thing to have our traditional models based on physics. So it's the ones we've run for many decades. They do a great job. We've made some great improvements. But early research into using artificial intelligence, AI models, is also showing promise. Incredible improvements. So the tactic that we've taken is we have the AI model and we have the physics model, the best forecasting. I saw this so many years at the National Hurricane Center. When you blend the forecast across a spectrum of different type of models, you kind of prevent the windshield wiper effect of the forecast. So we're using the AI model and the physics model to put it into an ensemble, blending those together to get the best solution. And it is really shown to provide some pretty good improvements.
How is the AI model handling some of those mesoscale features that can often be a little bit of a pain in forecasting with models? You know, the mountains, the terrain, the ocean effect. Are they helping get us a little bit better clarity with that?
Yeah, they do help. And I think what happens is you have to teach them. So what's interesting about AI models is they're only as good as the data you put into it and how you teach them. So what we're trying to do is take every one of these events and then put them back into kind of a reanalysis, so to speak. So you reanalyze the whole thing, you reteach the model. So in theory, with time, the AI models will keep getting better. So they'll start learning from the latest event, learning from any sort of problems that we had in some of the forecasts. I think that's incredible, because if you think about it, the more data we can get in there, the more events we get in there, the better the AI becomes, the better the models come. So it's just an incredible opportunity. I think it's an exciting time to get into meteorology right now, because I think we're on the cusp of some pretty big breakthroughs.
That's so interesting, your point about it relearning, because one of the first things that I thought of is, I'm learning AI as we go, and as I know it, right, you have to teach it based on the history books, what we have already in the data. As our climate warms, we're seeing more extreme events when it comes to temperature and precipitation, some of them unprecedented, that it's not in the books yet. So how can these AI models forecast or learn about something that hasn't happened yet that we're seeing with extreme events?
And I think that's where you still have to have a variety of models. So you're still going to have a few things, including the human, by the way. So even with AI models, it doesn't mean your favorite meteorologist is going away. So you'll have the models, you start looking at these extremes. But I think what's going to help us with the models is the National Weather Service, we're going more probabilistic. On April 1st, our national blend of models will be completely probabilistic. In other words, you'll have worst case scenario, most likely best case scenario. You'll be able to look at all those solutions. So even if it's a low probability of this high impact event, off the chart event, even a low probability could lead to a decision for a hospital. It could make it a decision to close a bridge just because it's a low probability. Even a high impact, you make decisions on it. So I think you're going to see some of those high impact events captured. It's just a matter of what you do with that information and how it teaches the model for the next one.
I love that you keep mentioning the need for the human forecaster. That's been such a topic this conference, not just with AI, but also with the changing landscape of media, broadcast TV, and the digital landscape and social media. Talk about that, about the need for not only the communicator, but the forecaster as well. We need those human eyeballs, and I think people are realizing that as they look at the weather app that comes on their phone, and they're like, why is this so off, you know? So speak to that.
Look, the word trust. I mean, there's so many stories over the years I've seen where trust can help lead to big decisions. So, I mean, I'd rather trust my favorite meteorologist than I would my computer or what the situation is. And if you think daily lives, people will probably look at their app, they'll kind of move on, looks like it's gonna be nice today. But when it really gets dangerous, a big tornado event, a big flood event, or this winter weather event, all of a sudden you start really turning to that voice that you trust. And you see that over and over and over. And that's why it's television, it could be radio, it could be social media, whatever it is, they go back to where they trust. And I think that's a big factor, because I've seen situations where, especially in hurricanes, where you're giving a briefing, there's so much information, and then what they'll look at me and say, Ken, just cut through it. What's going to happen? And you're like, this is what I think is going to happen, and then the decision is based on that. That right there doesn't go away. It takes a human to have that trust.
Translating, right? I always look at it as translating science, speaking two different languages. I've noticed that the Weather Service and all the enterprises, Weather Prediction Center, Storm Prediction Center, are starting to do a lot more with reels and video on social media instead of just posting graphical forecasts. What has that landscape been like for the Weather Service to keep up with the almost circus that is social media and getting communication out in the digital world? How are you guys keeping up? What are the challenges?
I think we got to be flexible in the Weather Service, because I think it took us a while to ramp up into social media, and then it was very one way, right? So we got to the point where it's like, okay, we're able to send information out on different platforms. We send it, we hit enter, we move on, and then the realization that things change. The landscape has completely changed. Now it is more interactive, and it's not long videos, right? Then we started getting into the videos. There were 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes. I saw like 10, 15-minute videos going, nobody's gonna watch all of that. So we've really adapted to that. And now you gotta be 30 seconds to a minute. I mean, it's gotta be fast, you gotta get to the point, you gotta be real clear in your messaging. So we have adapted to that, including the Space Weather Prediction Center, that you have a space weather event. And I watched recently, they're doing a video trying to explain all the complications of that. So yeah, at the Weather Service, we're really trying to get into more multimedia videos to get to people. And by the way, we're also tracking some of the comments, so we could look at the comments and see, looks like there's some confusion over this, and that could shape the next video. That's incredible for a government agency, but it's absolutely instrumental to get the information out.
I love that. It gives you more direct access to the people that we're serving, right? Even on the broadcast and digital side of things, it helps almost like have that feedback, have it be a two-way street almost. In talking with a lot of the students at the conference here, what are your kind of hopes and also worries for the weather, water, climate enterprise as we go through the next couple of years with the landscape of some uncertainty, funding, fewer jobs? What words of advice do you have for the younger generation of meteorologists that are coming into the field?
I told them all today. I looked at them and said, there's never been a better time to get into this profession. And you think about the explosion of AI information, that's just going to open the door to writing that code. It's going to open the door to modeling. It's going to open the door for all of us to communicate at resolutions maybe we never have before. So if you think about at the Weather Service, we're implementing AI into the model. We're looking at how that works and being able to say, maybe we can go higher resolutions. You're going to have more information than ever, which means you're going to have to sort through more data and be able to communicate more detailed information well in advance. And we're going to keep going in advance. How do you communicate 1 week out with uncertainty? How do you communicate uncertainty? So you really think about the profession. We're hiring at the Weather Service. We hired 5 at this conference, direct hiring authority. 5 students we just hired right on the spot, brought our HR folks. So I think it's never been so positive. I think it's exciting right now. And you think about the whole world of modeling AI and how to translate that into something that's actionable. I don't know. I think the future's never been so bright.
It's exciting. It's changing so fast, hard to keep up with sometimes in both, like I said, in the AI and the media landscape. But it's exciting. I feel like we're learning so much every time we come to these conferences. There are new topics that we're always learning about. Is there anything that I missed or anything that you would like to add?
No, I think with the Weather Service, we're going through a transformation right now, and this is the other part that I think it makes it exciting for students. So we're basically going to the cloud. I'm taking all of our systems that we have our offices now, the systems that we use to look at data, to issue warnings, we're going to put that in the cloud, and that's going to allow our staff to work anywhere. So think about emergency operations centers, co-located with the FAA, co-located with Coast Guard, emergency management. You'll have everything that you have in the office, you'll have portable, nimble, flexible, mobile, IWA decision makers. We're going to make sure anybody can work anywhere. So meteorologists on the front lines with the decision makers, that's incredibly exciting. And even moving our modeling to the cloud, that's going to open up a whole new world of modeling and programming in the cloud, more information coming in, being able to assimilate that information into the model. So we're looking at some big accuracy improvements. So you think about all that, I mean, just the public safety designation of the National Weather Service, being able to work on the front lines with all your equipment, that's an exciting profession. I mean, you think about meteorology, I mean, you go back 50 years, it might have been sitting behind a computer hitting enter. Now it's on the front lines of the fire, it's on the front lines of the disaster, providing information for really tough decisions.
Yeah, that's exciting, making it easier, because I guess especially in extreme events, you know, when we're humans too, right? Even the meteorologists need to seek shelter and lose our power and may have damage. So that'd be a game changer.
Yeah, and we, you know, at the winter weather event that we just had, we've got staff sleeping at the office. They've been trapped in there. We make sure that they can still do their job. We got the generators running. So I mean, you think about being in the heat of the battle. We have incident meteorologists that are deployed to the front lines of the fires. They sleep in tents. So they get up in the morning with the firefighters, they give the briefing, decisions are made based on that briefing. So think about all those different opportunities in the weather service. You could be on the front lines, you could be a modeler, you could be an emergency operations center leading to billion-dollar decisions. I don't know, that's a pretty exciting profession to me.
You guys seem pretty busy.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks for taking the time.
Awesome,
to chat.
yeah, thanks for being here, it was awesome, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome, appreciate it, good stuff.
It's a wrap.